Michael, I'm Daniel, and I'm a teacher of chemistry. I'll be handling you in chemistry of ordinary level or level. So we shall be discussing with you ordinary level chemistry. Now, before we can move on much, let us look at what chemistry is. So let's look at the definition of chemistry. So chemistry is a branch of science that deals with the study of matter and the changes they undergo under different conditions. So, chemistry is a branch of science that deals with the study of matter and the changes that they undergo under different conditions, meaning that chemistry is a science subject. In fact, a pure science subject. So let us look at what this definition tells us. Chemistry deals with the study of matter. We have been looking at matter many a time. And what is matter? Simply, matter is anything that occupies space and has weight. Now let us have a deeper look at what matter is. Anything that occupies space and has got weight. Now, if matter is anything that occupies space, it means that matter has volume, because the space that is occupied by an object is what we call the volume of that object. Then two, we say that matter has got weight. So weight is the gravitational pull on an object. So an object which experiences that gravitational pull has got mass, meaning that matter also has mass. So a subject which, say an object which is called matter has got volume because it occupies space. It also has mass. That's why it has got weight. Now, let us see what matter could therefore be. If you look around you, you'll find a marker like this. You find the wall is there, the seats or the chairs, and many other things. Think about the stones, think about air, think about water. These are some physical, simple examples of things that we encounter in our everyday life. That is what we call matter, because all of them have got volume. That means they occupy space, and they have got mass. So what I've just mentioned are what we call matter. So matter is anything that occupies space and has got weight. Now, we also say that in chemistry, we look at the changes that matter undergoes under different conditions. So let us try to see some of the changes that matter undergoes under different conditions. Let me give you some examples of changes. One of the changes is a simple one that we experience in our everyday life is ice changing into liquid water. Oh, ice, we always know it. that ice can change into liquid water. So ice is a solid, then liquid water is a liquid. Now the process by which a solid changes into a liquid has got a name, and that is what we call melting. It is a process of melting. So the process by which a solid changes into a liquid is what we call melting. It is called melting. Let me make it clearer here. It is called melting. Make it clear. This is one of the changes that matter can undergo. Now, that liquid water changing into steam. Liquid water is a liquid. It can change into steam, and steam is a gas. Now, that process itself is what we call boiling. Mark you one thing, that boiling is very different from evaporation, because evaporation takes place only on the surface of a liquid, when the most energetic particles of a liquid tries to escape only from the surface. But boiling takes place throughout a liquid and at a constant temperature called the boiling point. So the process by which a liquid completely changes into gas is what we call boiling. This is one of the changes. So I've given you two changes here that matter can undergo. Ice changing into liquid water, then liquid water changing into steam. I want us to know that ice is water in the solid state. Then this liquid water is also water but in the liquid state. Then we have liquid water changing into steam. Liquid water is water itself. Even steam is water but in the gas state and at a high temperature. So these changes that I have mentioned already are changes which takes place without the substance itself changing into another substance, meaning that there is no new substance formed. And for that reason, these changes are what we call physical changes. So matter can undergo physical changes, and these are changes where or in which no new substance is formed. So I want to give you more examples of physical changes which matter can undergo. We have a change like melting, which we have already talked about. We have the process of boiling. We have got the process of condensation, where a gas changes back into a liquid. It's called condensation. Then we have got the process of freezing, whereby a liquid changes into solid. Then there is one unusual change whereby a solid changes directly into a gas, or a gas changes directly into a solid. And that's what we call the process of sublimation. So all these are what we call changes, and they are called physical changes. Now, these physical changes takes place when something is applied. That's what we call a condition. In order for ice to change into liquid water, something must be there, and that thing is what we call heat. You are supposed to heat ice, and then it melts, it changes into liquid water, a process called melting. So the heat which is applied is what we call a condition for the reaction, for that change. In this case, if you look at the process of a liquid changing into steam in the process of boiling, you are even supposed to apply heat. That one is, the heat itself is what we call a condition for this change here. If you look at condensation, condensation involves a gas changing back into a liquid. So in this case, you are supposed to remove heat, or you lower temperature. That lowering of temperature or cooling or removal of heat is also a condition. So matter can change from one physical state to another when some conditions are applied. So this is one of the type of changes that matter undergoes, and that's what we call physical changes. We are going to also look at another type of change which is called chemical changes. So we also have chemical changes. So in a chemical change, a new substance is formed. So a chemical change does not involve these processes which we have just looked at, because a new substance is supposed to be formed. Like this piece of paper, if I burn it, it will change into ash. You will even see smoke forming. So the ash or the smoke which has been formed is not this paper here. So the ash is a new substance which has been formed, and that's what we call a chemical change. Matter can undergo also chemical changes apart from physical changes under certain conditions. Like for this paper, it has to be burned. When it burns, it changes into ash. So the burning or the application of heat is actually what we call a condition for that change. So in a chemical change, a new substance is formed. So we have processes like burning of substances, not just heating, but burning. We have got the process of rusting, which takes place on iron. Rusting of iron. We have got the process of phosphorus reacting with air, what we call smoldering. Smoldering of phosphorus.